so we are ready to go live, and we are finally live. Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to this new Saturday, to this new English lesson. And here we are. Today is Saturday the 13th of January, and we are ready for another beautiful deep dive lesson where we are diving into a lot of very interesting topics we are all very eager to know. So let me see. Oh, hold on. Okay, now we are actually live. Okay. So welcome you guys, welcome everybody. I'm probably doing this introduction twice maybe, but in case I've just started this live session, welcome to this new English lesson. How you guys doing today? It's so good to see you all here live with me to have another deep dive lesson into the English world. Oh yeah, we are here just for this reason. We're here because we want to learn and improve our English. Starting from A2/B1, starting from a B1 level, we want to take our B1 level and we want to bring it up to the stars. We want to bring it up to a beautiful C2 level possibly, or even just a simple B2 level is already a great achievement. I know many of us want to achieve, and I'm right here to help you in this journey. So first of all, what are we doing today? As always, this is going to be a Q&A session, which means that you are going to ask me questions and I'm going to answer to any questions you have. To do that, there are several ways. The easiest, of course, is to write here into the chat box or down here in the comments if you're looking at it as a replay. At the same time, it's not the best because I can't answer to every question I see straight away. So the best way possible is to use the link down here to fill in a form, a very simple form where you only need to say your name and your question. As soon as I receive your question, I prepare for it and I'm going to present my answer into the next live session. So let's begin our I see that for some reason I don't see myself live. Is it possible? Can you guys see me? Can you please tell me? Because I'm checking up here. I'm checking that I'm live right now. So if I'm actually live, can you please send me a message so I can actually see it? So I can see that I'm actually live. Let me see. As I'm waiting for, yes, you are live, Albert, don't worry about it. I'm going to double check. Oh, hello from France. This means that we are live. Yeah, hello, Lolly. Welcome with us. You are always a pleasure to be with. And this means that we are actually live. Yes, we had some doubts about it, but actually it's all good. Okay, so let's go actually to answer, because if I remember well, your question, Lolly, is the first one. Yes, it is. So I received this question a few days ago, and it says, I get a little confused when I have to use the word space or room. Could you please help me? Thank you, teacher. All right, so now let's understand what the problem is, why these words are confusing. Why do we see space and room and we get confused by it? Well, the reason is because sometimes we can use one and sometimes we can use the other one for the same in the same situation. So let's understand first of all that the word space is basically means a huge quantity of space, and it's a very general word. The word room is a very specific word when you mean a type of space that is ready to be occupied. And this is the key word, all right? For you, Lolly, and for whoever else is wondering this thing. So the The keyword is to understand that if you use room, it's because you're talking about space that is ready to be occupied. So what does it mean? Let me put it in an example. We all know what a room is, right? And if we have any doubts, we're gonna clear any doubts straight away. We just put room here over Google, we take the images, and what we see is a room, right? So this is a room. But why is it a room? It's called room because it's actually space that is occupied. This is a room too because it's a space that is occupied. It's a space that is used for something. Now, if we take another image that has nothing to do with this, for example, a fridge. Here we go. So why do we need to see a fridge? Because say that this is your fridge, and by the way, it's a pretty empty fridge. Let's say you bought something, you bought an orange, and you want to place your orange here. So of course you need to know if there is enough space, all right, to place your orange. I say that there is enough space, and to communicate that there is enough space, you are going to replace the word space with the word room. So you're gonna say there's enough room for an orange, because when you use the word room, you're talking about a space that can be occupied. If you want to put your orange here, as you can see, there isn't enough room. But if I use the word space, we can say that generally speaking, this fridge has a lot of space, all right? So the word space is general. So whenever you're talking about anything, for example, this fridge has more space than this fridge. This is clear, isn't it? But when we're talking about room, well, this is really specific on the room, on the space that you can occupy. And for that reason, this is a perfect space. So this is a perfect spot. It's a perfect, there's some room for your orange. So this is why you may have heard sometimes the expression, "Can you make me some room, please?" And this is what it means. How or when can you listen to such a phrase? Say you are, I don't know, at a picnic, all right, with some friends, and you are eating in one of those benches. Actually, let me show you what I mean. If we put like bench, this is a bench, all right? If we put picnic bench, here is exactly what I mean. So let's say that you guys are here and you are, okay, this is better. So you're here and you are just having lunch with your friends, having a nice picnic, and then there's another person. You are sitting here and this person says, "Can you make me some room, please?" What he's asking you is to move a little bit so that this new person can sit, so you can basically free some space for this new person, so this person can sit. So I hope that this explanation was clear, and let me check in the comments if it actually was. Let me see. We can see you. Okay, yes, this is before. All right, so basically because diving into myself, which is it is, I think. So I see that you said that we are live, so this means that I've been having, we had just a double introduction. That's okay. Anyway, back to us. So if this topic is clear, let me know. Meanwhile, we're going over the next question, which is from Anya. Hello, Anya. Welcome with us. And if you're right here live, welcome to the live session. Otherwise, if you're seeing it as a replay, welcome to the replay. So you're asking, hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. What difference? Or in other words, you're asking, what's the difference between hello, everyone and hello, everybody? So I guess that here you want to know everyone, everybody, what is it? Why there are two words, everyone, everybody, for the same meaning, for the same thing? Well, let's see it together. And for this reason, we're gonna use a little piece of paper right here. So we want to know everyone, everybody. Difference. So this is what we want to know. Okay, I wrote it because if somebody gets into the live session right now, at least you know the topic. So to do this, let's understand first of all that the word every can be used both with the word one and with the word body. This means we have to understand the difference between one and body. And we also need to understand what's the meaning of every. So let's begin with every, right? To understand every, we can imagine these little dots, all right? So we are talking about these little dots. And because the example Anya provided was hello everyone or hello everybody, these little green dots can be people. All right, so these are all people. When you use the word every, you mean to say hello to all of them, right? So every, you say every when you mean all of them. So far, so good, right? So far, this was the easy bit. Now we need to understand the harder one, right? So what's the difference between one and body? Let me see, as I explain this, let me see in the comments if you can actually tell me yourself what's the difference. Maybe you already know what the difference is if you know it. So body, what's body? To understand what's body, we only need to go, yeah, here, you got it, guys. You already know what we are about to do, right? We're just gonna put the word body here on Google Images, and of course, as we see, is a lot of bodies. Okay, now let's do the same with the word one. And as you can see, we're talking about one, but not as the number, and this is the most important thing. When we're talking about the word one means the one thing and not the rest. It means like essential, the one I'm talking about, the one that is in my mind, right? The reason why is also used for the number one is because, well, the number one is the first number, then there are 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, right? When they first started using numbers, they started using, well, the first number they started to use was the number one. They didn't need in the beginning to know about a number 2, 3 or 4, etc. For this reason, when they said one, it was the most important one. This thing is very important. For example, have you watched the movie The Matrix? If you have watched the movie The Matrix, you probably already know that Neo the main character of the movie. He was the one. Let me show you what I mean. So back to Google once again, but this time we're going over YouTube, and we're gonna put something like the Matrix, the one. All right, here we go. And Neo, not the one. Well, we don't need to watch one of them because in this moment I don't know which video to pull out, but at the same time, look at this. Neo isn't the one. All right, Neo isn't the one means Neo isn't the chosen one, the one that in the movie was supposed to save everybody. So Neo was the one. If you watch the movie, you're the one because he was the one in charge, the one that was already chosen to save the whole world. Okay, so I really hope you guys watched Matrix. This is a classic movie. If you haven't watched it and you like action movies, do watch it because it's mind-blowing. And exactly, do you think you are the one? So she's asking if he is the one, the real one, the one that was needed to save the world, right? Now, so we stayed a bit too long on this one, but because it was a pretty interesting bit and very useful. In fact, you can say, you can use the one in many situations. For example, even when we were talking about brush pens, you can say this is the brush pen I used for the title, I mean this title, or I can say this is the one I used for the title. So you can use the word one because I'm talking exactly about this brush pen and not maybe these ones, all right? I'm talking about this one. All right, enough about this. I think you really got the point here. One and body. At this point, when we are talking about body, if one is very specific, guess how specific? Get what's happening with body. Body is generic because there are many bodies. There are many bodies around, right? There are many bodies around. Everyone has a body. I have a body. You watching have a body. Everyone watching this this video, this streaming session has a body. So for this reason, when you're using the word body, you're talking very generically. Now, when we are saying everyone, we are talking about every person we have in mind specifically. So for example, this name is John, this one is Jack, and we know the name or the person personally. So for this reason, when we say hello everyone, we are saying hello to each and every single person individually, specifically, all right, to the single one. Whereas when we are saying hello everybody, well, in that case we are being generic. We're being generic as in, do you know who's this guy here? Who this guy is? I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who this guy is. And for that reason, I don't know them. And so I say everybody. For example, I can say, for example, let me see if I know everyone right now in the chat box. Well, pretty much the people I see in the chat box are already known to me. So if I have to, if I have to greet you right now, I would say hello everyone. And it's even nicer because you are talking individually about every single person. But I also know that this streaming is available later on as a replay and many other people actually watch it. So for that reason, I may actually say hello everybody, guys, because there are people I do know, there are people I don't know, but my greeting is for everybody. All right, excellent. So let me see if this was clear enough. Irina said one is more specific when use it when we know people, but it's generic. We use it when there are people we don't know. You got it, Irina. You already know this one. Awesome. Very well. Good on you. Excellent. We can also explore this topic a little deeper, because if now we know that everyone and everybody have these meanings, then we can also understand things like someone and somebody, right? Because we already know the image of one, the image of body. We only need to understand the image of some. If you have already studied this at school or on your own anyway, you are quite used to see some compared to any, right? So let me follow the same route, because I'm about to tell you something I'm not sure you guys know. So some, any. Now, what's the difference between some and any? Because as you know, there's also anyone or anybody, right? But now what's the difference? At school, they say that some is for affirmative phrases, any is for questions and negative phrases. And I am here to say that that's not true. Yes, that's right. I'm saying it. I'm saying it's not true. Why do I say that? Well, actually, it's half true. It's a half true. Let me tell you the other half. Some is definitely a quantity. Actually, let me show you the image of some. So this is my, these are all my brush pens, the ones I use for the drawings there, right? So I take a quantity, and this quantity is some. This quantity is some because I haven't counted how many brush pens I got in my hands, and for this reason, this quantity is generic. It's some, right? So we can say, hold on, okay, we can say that some is a certain quantity, as in you are certain there's a quantity but you don't know how much, right? Any, when you use any, you're talking about, or better, you have a doubt on the quantity. So you have a doubt on the quantity, you just don't know, when you're using any if there's a quantity or not. And this is exactly why it's used in negative phrases. For example, I just look at these brush pens, and there isn't any red brush pen here, because it's actually here, right? So there isn't any red brush pen, and I use any because, well, together with the negative part, there isn't, as in there is not, any makes sense. You're saying that there's a negative quantity, and I'm clearing my doubt using the word any. I know it's a bit complex, but I think you're following. So there isn't any red red brush pen. At the same time, I might ask, is there any red brush pen? And once again, I'm using any because I have a doubt in my mind, right? So I don't know if there's a red brush pen or not. So I'm asking, is there any red brush pen? And actually, yes, there is. It's right here. At the same time, I know there's a red brush pen, right? I just don't know whether it's here or not. So I don't really have a doubt. I'm certain of the quantity. For that reason, I can also ask a question, as in, is there some, or better, are there some red brush pens? And I'm going to use some because I'm certain of it. Now, Let's put this image, right? Let's put this image into this topic. And because we are talking about people, we can use the same red, the same green dots here, right? When we are saying some, we are just talking about some of them. For example, these, right? I haven't counted them. Okay, well, now I know there are 4 dots, but I haven't counted them. I just took some. If I had to take any, I may take, I don't know, I may take this too, all right? The difference is that here I took it purposefully. I mean, like, I was certain about the quantity I was picking, pretty much. Any, I had a doubt. Do I take it? Do I not take them? I don't know. So, here, someone, okay? Of course, we need to change a little the example, and we can say, there's a perfect example for this, someone, okay? So we are talking about someone. For example, somebody is knocking at your door, right? And by the way, I'm using somebody is knocking at your door. So you listen to it, you are certain that somebody is knocking. For that reason, you're going to say some, right? And then you have the choice to whether use someone or somebody. So my question to you is, do you know the person? Did you expect somebody at the door? If you knew that somebody was at the door, if you knew already who was the person on the other side at the other side of the door, then you would have said, oh, there's someone at the door. But if you don't know, then you're gonna say there is somebody at the door, because you are generic. You don't know, you don't have the person in mind, so you're gonna say somebody. This makes me think of a song, a pretty sad song that just goes like, somebody who I used to know. So we're not gonna listen to it, but we're gonna just look at it. Somebody who, that I used to know. Here we go. All right, so this song is a very nice song, and it's a sad song. Okay, so it talks about a couple, these 2 guys that are breaking. Okay, they're breaking up, and he says that now you are somebody that I used to know in the past. Okay, so you say somebody because what he means, this is the end of a love story, and what he means is that she's not even part of the people he knows anymore, because they broke up. It's a very sad story. I don't really want to make you sad with it, but I want to show you exactly this thing, that it's very important to use someone or somebody according to what you have in your mind. Like, if you have the person or the people you're talking about in your mind, then you're going to use someone. If you don't know, then somebody. Okay. We can do the same thing for any, but I don't want to be too repetitive. All right, so we can go pretty fast here, because we have already said that we're going to use any when we don't know, when we have a doubt on the quantity. So we can use it in negative phrases, right? Or, so basically, for example, you can say there isn't anyone, or there isn't anybody, or in questions. So let me give you this example. You are at a station, at a train station, okay? You are here, and you are waiting for your friends. So maybe you are this guy here, it doesn't matter. You are here, you're waiting for your friends, but you are the first to arrive. So you can say, actually, let me ask you, would you say there isn't anybody or there isn't anyone? And let me see in the chat box what you answer. Let me see if I can see it. Let me see if I can see your answer from here, from my phone here. But let me see. Or there isn't. Okay. Let me see. Wow, I'm not listening. I can't see your answers yet, but I can see Lolly that says, "Great, Irina, you hit the nail on the head." Wow, Lolly, that's an expression. That's a very advanced expression to use. Congratulations. That's not something you hear every day. Good on you. Anyway, anyone, you say. Yes, that's right, Lolly. Anyone, you got it. You're using anyone because, well, there are many people. Sure, you can't say there isn't anybody, but there aren't the people you are waiting for, the ones you have in your head. So for that reason, you're gonna say there isn't anyone. What's going on here? Okay, you guys, very well. I see you got the point. So off with this question, on with the next one, which is yours, Lolly. Now, this is actually not a question, but this is something I took from our last conversation. I particularly liked your comment and I wanted to talk about it because it's very interesting. Because you said, could you more polite? Now, let me, for context, help you. So last time we were, I was answering other questions, and one of those questions was framed in a very particular way. It was framed like, may you so kindly be to answer, and then the question went on with what the question was about. In that occasion, I said that I reframed it using can. Can you please? And then what the question was. And this is when you actually, Lolly says, could you more polite? And here I am talking about a very important thing. How to be polite. I'm going to make a video on this topic because I know that it's very important and it's something that is very useful in conversations, because many times we just don't know, we want to be polite, but at the same time we don't know if we are being too polite, right? Or maybe we just don't know. Okay, so here I am talking about this one, and because it's the first time that I put this topic graphically, I have already written it down, and I also put myself a reminder to, please guys, if you like this video, do push the like button, okay, because I always forget to ask you this. So here it is, like this video. Okay, done. Back to us. So how to be polite in English. This is also a very important topic, my friends, because every country, every language, every culture has its own styles to be polite. For example, the Italian style of being polite, especially with people you don't know, is pretty formal. Like, we are pretty formal when we talk with people we don't know. But then English is a way less formal country than Italy, and so for that reason, I too had to adjust to this when I started learning English. English people are not so, they're more direct, right? And I see the same thing with other nations too. I saw in the past, teaching English to many people, that we all have this problem. We are overly polite. We are too polite. And the reason is the reason is simply because we have mostly learned this language in a written form. So when you learn a language, writing it or just reading it, what you read, what you write is generally pretty formal. So you may think that people in real life speak that politely, but actually that's not the case. In real life, people are very casual. I mean, when I say people, I mean English speakers, okay? Native English speakers are pretty casual in their speech, in the way they communicate. So for that reason, too many expressions like could or would like or kind, these words are not necessary. So I'm here to actually give you, so right now I want to actually give you what is necessary to be polite in English. First of all, guys, use please and thanks. And I see here in the chat box, Lolly, which you're writing a lot, and it gives me a good idea of your level of English. I can see that you use please and thanks a lot, so good on you. You guys that are watching this video as a replay, or you are watching right now, check the way she is writing, because that's a pretty polite way. So yeah, absolutely. When you are asking something, when you want somebody to say something, use please and thanks. So please, can you do this? Thanks. Please, can you do? Please, can you come here? Thanks. When you are greeting somebody, when you're greeting, and by the way, it's right here already. When you're greeting somebody, always remember to ask, how are you? How you doing? How's it going? And then when the other person is asking you the same question, just reply, I'm fine, thanks, I'm good, thanks. But anyway, you always want to use thanks. You see, it needs to be automatic. It needs to be something automatic. When you say, I'm good, thanks. I'm pretty fine, thanks. And then this is how you do it for everything. So always please and thanks. And when you greet, all right, when you greet, well, this is a very important topic. In fact, we're going to explain it here and here too. When you greet somebody, you know, a simple hi is good. Hi is good. When you can be polite using saying hi. If the person you are greeting, if you know the person you're greeting, even hello is fine. All right. But if it's somebody you don't know, then you want to go to the other side. You want to say things like good morning, good afternoon, good evening. All right. This is just a polite way. Okay, so it's a polite way to use with people you don't know, right? So this is how you say it. You don't want to say hi and hello to people you don't know. But the opposite is true. Like if for example, I tell you always hello, awesome people, because I feel like I know you. I feel like I want to know you. And to do this, I'm using hello, right? But if we were face to face and I haven't met you before, I don't know you, then it's better to say good afternoon, good morning, good evening, right? Don't use good night. Good night is only to say bye whenever the other person is going to sleep, okay? Then next to it, there's these two things here. And these two here are very, very important, because I see places in Asia, especially in India, Pakistan, where people are, where you guys, when you're speaking English, are using a lot this sir or madam to refer to people you don't know. And it's good, but let me give you context for it, all right? So it's good to use sir or madam with people you don't know, and you need to be formal. You need to be formal. Okay, so these two are formal, right? So for example, you can say I oftentimes read this in comments, so you don't need to say sir to me, okay? Because you know me. If you've been watching my videos long enough already, you kind of know me, you know? So for that reason, you don't need to be this formal with me. You don't need to call me sir, right? Same if I was a girl, you wouldn't need me to call me madam. But you need to say sir or madam if you're working in English. When in that case, you want to be polite and say to people you don't know, maybe greet them with good morning, sir, good morning, madam, all right? Now, these things are very important because, you see, I know that at least in Italy and in France and in Spanish too, there's a particular formal way to speak with a person, reserved only to speak with people you don't know, and you need to be formal. But in English, we don't have such a distinction. If I want to say, let me know what you think about it, okay? You're not going to change these words, let me know what you think about it. You're not going to change these words if you know the person or if you don't know the person. These words will stay the same. So what makes a phrase polite or not is the use of please. Please let me know, sir, what you think about it. Please let me know, madam, what you think about it, right? So it's this is how to make English polite. You don't need to use could, would, or should, or kind to do this. Now let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. To talk about it, let's go here, asking and requests. Okay, because what happens when you wanna ask something? For example, there's this phrase, would you like a cup of coffee? All right. This is beautiful. This is polite. Actually, let me write it down. Okay. Would you like blah blah blah. Okay, facciamo così. So would you like? Now, if you say would you like, this is extremely polite and it's good if, once again, you don't know the person. As soon as you know the person, instead of would you like, maybe you can go with do you prefer a cup of coffee? Or let me say, let me remember, because I don't remember right now. Okay, so could you, so could you, for example, could you come here please? Okay, so you want the person to come here. Okay, so you can say could you, and be very formal. You can't really understand my writing, I'm sorry about that, but I said could you, right? So you can be very formal, could you come here please? But at the same time, if you already know the person, you can go with can you come here please? Why this? Because words like would, could, and should, would, could, or should, are yes used for politeness, but are especially used for possibilities. Possibilities, all right? These are words that talk about a possibility, but. So when you use would, could, or should, you're talking about something that has a possibility, but is not happening. Okay, it's very important that this but is right here because it's not happening. So would is would is the possibility of want. Could is the possibility of can, and should is the possibility of must, right? Now, if this topic is a bit too difficult, don't worry guys, because I'm about to launch a course where I'm going to explain all this from the beginning, so you're covered, okay? And actually, let me know down here in the comments if you need to have a deeper understanding of this topic. Now, if you say, could you come here please, all right, you are saying that the person can't. You're saying that the person can't, but there's a possibility that it would have happened. I mean, the reason why it's a polite way to say something is because you are going around the topic, but you're not being direct, okay? So for this reason, my friends, just avoid using this to be polite and just go with the rest of them. Like please, thanks is already enough. Sir, madam, if you want to be formal, they're already enough. Let me see. Do you fancy a cup of coffee? Oh, Lolly, this is beautiful. Yes, do you fancy a cup of coffee? This is a beautiful expression, very UK, very UK, to actually say that you like the idea to have a cup of coffee. Yes, absolutely. Do you fancy a cup of coffee? Even how about, like we talked about last time, how about a cup of coffee, right? Last time we talked about the difference between what about and how about, right? So what about, we were talking about like a topic that we wanted to know more about it. How about is used for suggestions. So right here, if you're talking with a friend, instead of would you like a cup of coffee, just go with how about a cup of coffee. It's still very polite, but it's more friendly. And of course, with a friend, you want to be friendly, right? Kind of makes sense, correct? Awesome, you guys. Let me see. Oh, lastly, Mr., Mrs., and excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go with Mr. and Mrs. first. Now, these two are very important, okay? These two are very important when you want to be polite with people you don't know, okay? So, let's say, for example, you are working as a receptionist, and so you work at a reception, and there are many people coming in and out your office, your area anyway. You know some of them, and you don't know some others, okay? So with people you don't know, or better, people you know the names, and other people you don't know the names. So if you don't know the names, you're gonna go with this one. Don't know the name. All right? So you're gonna say sir, madam. For example, good morning, sir. Good morning, madam. This is perfect to be polite with people you don't know the name of. But let's say you know the name, then you go with this one. Know the name. So in case you know the person, maybe you know their last name, okay? So maybe the last name is Brown. So you're gonna say good morning, right? Good morning, Mr. Brown. Good morning, Mrs. Brown. Or maybe the last name is Glasses, right? Good afternoon, Mrs. Glasses. Very, very important, okay? When you know it, just use it. And always use Mr. or Mrs. Now, never use Mr. or Mrs. alone, on their own, okay? So if you don't know the name, or if you don't remember the name, if you don't want to say the name, it's fine. Then go with sir or madam. Hello, sir. Good morning, madam. If you know their preferably last name, then go with their last name preceded by Mr. or Mrs. So hello, Mr. Jackfield. Hello, Mrs. Chair. Okay, so just use this like this. Okay, so don't know the name sir, madam, know the name Mr. or Mrs. And this way, you guys, you are more than polite. Lastly, excuse me, I'm sorry, I put them here, but they're pretty self-explanatory, right? Because you're gonna use excuse me. Well, you're gonna use I'm sorry when there's a reason to be sorry. There's maybe, I don't know, there's a reason to be sorry. Maybe you need to say, maybe you made a mistake, so you say I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. Please let me help you. I'm sorry, sir. Thanks. Thanks, sir. I'm sorry. Okay, so depending on what's happening, all right? Excuse me is for interrupt. In blue, once again, interrupt. All right, so basically, if somebody is speaking and you want to say your opinion, you wanna participate in the conversation, begin your phrase with excuse me to actually go ahead and say what you want to say, but you interrupt in a very polite way. Now, don't say I'm sorry, okay? If you want to interrupt, don't say I'm sorry. If you want to interrupt, you say excuse me. Why? If you say I'm sorry, you are saying that you feel sorry, okay? Now, I know you guys know the meaning of sorry, but let me show you the image of sorry. Sorry. Okay, here, look at this. So if you wanna say your opinion and you begin with such an emotion, can you understand that definitely you're not going in the right way? You know, this is what I mean. Let me see if there are other images, or better yet, let's go with I'm sorry, right? If you go with I'm sorry, you're already in a position of you're already in a lower position, so you don't want to say I'm sorry when you're interrupting. Even if you're sorry because you're interrupting, you don't want to say I'm sorry to interrupt. You say excuse me. Excuse me is a very polite and professional way to interrupt somebody to say your point of view, or just because you're passing through. Okay, for example, there are a few people and you're just walking by the street. There are a few people, they're just chatting, and you have to come through, because you have to go through them, because well, that's the size of the street. So you say excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, thank you so much, please excuse me, thank you. All right, don't go with I'm sorry. I know that it's very common, but don't go with I'm sorry, because I'm sorry, it's like you feel bad for it, but you don't really feel bad if you're going through people. All right, you leave I'm sorry for moments you really do feel sorry, and you leave excuse me for the moments you need to interrupt. All right, so I think this is it for today. There were other questions actually, but we haven't had enough time to go through them. This means we're gonna do it next time. So I hope everything was clear, and if you have any doubts, just write it down here in the comments below, in the chat box, wherever you want. Just write down, maybe use a maybe fill in the form to ask me the next question. This way I can see it straight away. And with this, I say that it's been a real pleasure to be here with you guys, and I'll see you next Saturday live once again for another beautiful lesson together. Take care, guys. Cheers.